Excited about that performance right there. We got a lot of respect for BYU, and you know, our kids on both sides of the ball really executed the plan to a T. Was excited how we ran the ball. I know everybody's talking about Jake and his, you know, great percentage completion tonight, and that's awesome. I mean, that's the Jake that, you know, we see all the time. And I think when the offensive line blocks like they do, and he can sit back there and really look at things, he's a hard guy to stop. But most impressively was how we were running the ball. I think that set up the pass game, so that was good. And then on defense, again, hats off to those guys. That's an awkward offense to go against, and you know, they're a highly efficient offense. I think Tanner only had a couple incompletions himself, but we got some key turnovers. We stopped the run like we needed to, and it was a really impressive team effort. Well, you know, whether we play good or not, we always feel, I mean, when the kids work their tail off, and so, yeah, you know, but I would have said that 2 games ago. I would have, you know, said that, you know, a couple games back. But, yeah, I mean, and every week is different, and you just want them to prepare their tail off and to come out with really good energy. Like I think I spoke about that last week, is, you know, when they come out with really good energy, and, you know, we're splitting hairs sometimes, and that's all it takes. And the momentum of the game can change things. I thought the play by Ben Burke-Irvin again right before half, you know, we were playing good on both sides of the ball, but then we get that turnover, and then we're able to get an end zone. I mean, those are game-changing right there. And so you get a little luck and a little momentum and a lot of hard play. Good things can happen.
Peyton Henry missing both field goals. I know you're not going to be happy about that, but just, you know.
We're not going to talk about that. We got a lot of good things to talk about. I think there's other things we can, you know, Peyton's a good kicker, but I think we can. You got anything else you want to ask?
What have you seen from the offensive line in practice the past week or so that just clicking more and more?
Yeah. Well, not only in practice, you know, practice is different than the game. I mean, I was really pleased with how those guys were blocking out there. Like I said, I mean, that was probably the number one thing. I didn't really even realize how many passes Jake completed, because I was so focused on the run game. And they have some good stout players up there. Sione Taki, number 16, he's a heck of a player. And that was quite a battle going on with our tight ends and him on the edge. And you know, kind of pleased how that turned out, but our hat's off to him. He's a good player.
Ben Burke-Irvin's established himself as a premium player now, but did you see this kind of career arc for him when he started?
I mean, I've been saying it, you know, the last couple of weeks. We've thought he's a really, really good player. I mean, that's why we played him last year. I mean, that's why he was in there as a starter last year. And he did some really good things the year before. And you know, our whole thing when we recruited the guy, I told you, he was such a fierce competitor and such a tough guy. The number one thing when we were recruiting him is I was hoping he'd stay healthy, because he just is fearless, how he throws his body in there. And he's not the biggest guy, but he's smart and crafty and fearless, and that's a good combination for a linebacker.
Chris, did you see anything in their defense in terms of their wrinkles that led you to think that you could get something done in the run game early?
Well, we knew we had to get something done in the run game, because they kind of play conservative in the back end. And so it's hard to get some shots down the field on them, and it's almost impossible unless you are running the ball. So we were so fixated on that I think because it allowed Jake to set his feet a little bit and take some play action shots downfield. We got a couple that he threw in there real nice, and I mean, it was a good balance. I thought Bush called a great game, and it was a good balance.
Those stretch plays early, and then the nakeds that were kind of off of that. I mean, was that part of the thing that immediately showed up when you thought you could exploit some things?
Yeah, and usually if the run game's not going, that you know, play action game off it isn't nearly as effective. But you got to be able to establish the run, or they're not going to honor that stuff. So it was, like I said, that's why I keep coming back to the run game, and pleased with that.
Having a safety lead your defense in sacks, Taylor Rapp has 4 now. Kind of what are you seeing from the pass rush? Coach Lake said that everyone's a pass rusher on defense. Just what are you seeing?
Yeah. I mean, I think from an offensive perspective, I think it's really hard when they're bringing secondary guys, secondary pressures. I mean, those are always a thing that everybody's concerned with on offense. And so we do a lot of that. We have really good players that he brings off the edge or up the middle. And it's, you know, name of the game is just getting to the quarterback. Doesn't matter how you do it. And that's one of the ways.
When Simone gets to that second level, are you guys anticipating he's going to break one of these?
I really am. I really am. And, you know, and he will. You know, he will. I think, you know, he'll break some of those arm tackles they're getting him a little bit. But he's doing a great job. And, you know, we'll keep having he and Miles with that 1-2 punch right now and keep going until they get something done big.
Coach, Ben Burke-Irvin makes that play on defense, and then Jake uses his feet to go in right before halftime. How big is that in terms of the combo offense-defense?
Yeah. I thought that was play of the game. I mean, I think there was 11 seconds left when we got the ball back. We were feeling good about ourselves going in 14-0, and we're getting ready to call a timeout when Ben knocked that ball out. Maybe we come after the punt a little bit. But that was play of the game. And then Jake completes a little 5-yard route, get us a little bit closer, and then, you know, Bush, another great call on the quarterback draw.
Coach, offensive line, they just looked like they were just really in sync tonight, and you're rotating some guys in there too. Is that something that they're just coming together, or you're playing Auburn, Utah, just the quality of defensive lines you've seen? Can you explain what happened tonight that was different?
Yeah. It's hard to know. You know, we'll look at the tape and analyze it. You know, it's probably a combination of all those things. You know, they've got a lot of reps under their belt now. They've seen a lot of different defensives thrown at them. They're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm, and they were in that tonight. And, you know, I just think if they can get things started for our running backs, good things are going to happen. And so there wasn't a whole bunch of negative plays where our guys were coming off. And I think the couple times that happened, Sean McGrew and a couple of those other guys even made the guys miss to get positive yards.
Coach, was there anything about BYU offensively or defensively that surprised you for the better or for the worse?
No, not necessarily. You know, you have to look at the tape. I'll have to look at the tape to see that. But I think, you know, at this point, teams show their style, what they're all about, how they're going to, you know, attack you. And I think they got a really good style on both sides of the ball. And what I mean by that is different. It's different than we've seen, at least certainly these first 4 games. And so when you have a week to prepare for something that's really different, because we see a lot of things from our defense in practice on offense, but we really haven't seen a lot of that style. And so, you know, we were pleased how they executed.
But some of those third down plays when they were able to maybe get a screen or a draw or something like that, is that something that you're willing to live with as long as you guys can stay aggressive and make more plays than you'll give up?
Yeah, we're always going to stay aggressive. It's frustrating as heck because some of those were really longer yardage situations. It's one thing they're converting those, you know, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s, short yard. That's going to happen, part of that. But, you know, they hit a couple long third downs. I think that's what – I think our third down defense wasn't that bad overall, if I'm not mistaken. But they hit us on a couple long 3rd and XLs that made it feel like, you know, we missed a tackle one time. They had some really good creative play calling. You know, they did. They had a couple things off that they had set up earlier last couple games and, you know, executed pretty good.
Is this your team's best overall performance? You had some big wins at Utah against Arizona State, but is this the best one? Yeah,
for sure. As a whole team, I think both sides of the ball, you know, are making strides, and it's awesome to be home. I mean, play in front of a crowd like this, it makes a tremendous difference. You know, the energy, the third downs, you know, a couple false starts. I mean, all those little things really add up. And so the combination of all that, yeah, I think it was probably our best.
Coach, obviously, you know, Jake tonight sets the, you know, career passing record for the school. I mean, obviously, that's something you got to be here a while to do and be really productive. If you just a little bit, your thoughts about him doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look, you know, at his whole body of work and as much as he played, I think if we're doing what we want to do, he better be the career leader in all those things. You know, there's not too many guys that are going to play as a true freshman, you know, or even a redshirt freshman play 4 straight years, you know, in this day and age. And so, and Jake's a heck of a player. I mean, he has been, you know, since the day he came here, and he's continually got better. And I think you saw, you know, one of the better versions of his whole game. And, you know, like I told you guys last week, I mean, that quarterback's going to get a lot of credit or a lot of blame. And when everybody else is doing their job, that's what our quarterback can look like with a player like Jake. And the O-line let him set his feet, and he was finding guys, and receivers made plays. He threw a couple tight balls and some windows, and it was great to see.
What is it about Aaron Fuller that makes him such a reliable target, especially on third downs?
Yeah, I think he's just a smart guy. I mean, that's what, when I think of Aaron, I just think he's just really smart. Like, that's why we played him as a true freshman. You know, you're not going to play those guys unless they really can comprehend things, and he's just got a feel for the game, and he's going to find seams and zones, and he knows how to set guys up, and you know, and he's gaining confidence as he continues to play.
Anything on Shane Bowman at all? Not
Shane
yet.
Bowman broke a bone in his foot. He'll be out for multiple weeks, but we should get him back after the bye.